Hello and welcome to the HackMatrix stream. I am going to work on resizable windows. It's highly likely that the stream will crash. For some reason, OBS doesn't really cooperate well with HackMatrix, but that's fine. You know, there are some problems with this software, so um, maybe one day it'll work flawlessly, but I'm going to try to stream as best as I possibly can. Um, working on resizable windows today. I'm not sure that is the best photo for this. Pew. So I'll just use this one that I just took. Hopefully the stream doesn't crash before I get the photo up. Let's see. I think that'll be in, nope, not downloads. That will be in HackMatrix screenshots folder. Whoops. Okay, it's that one. Okay, cool. Okay, so for resizable windows, I think I want a hotkey that is probably, so right now I have window 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bound, and then 0 will move me to this basically 0 point in the level. And so I think what I want, hold on, there's a comment. Yo, GPU is required for HackMatrix. Kind of. I developed it on an integrated GPU, so it's pretty minimal on resources. But if you want to run it on like if you want to run some complex software like VS Code, it's not going to work. So anything that's like super heavyweight, it's just not going to work. I think I'm going to turn down the speed here. Okay, so for HackMatrix, I will just open up the HackMatrix folder. And okay, so let's just establish that the branch is clean or clean-ish. Get diff config dot. I'm pretty sure I know what that is. Okay, yeah, so it's just that I have the row-fi as opposed to dmenu set up. Whoa, Emacs just disappeared. I'm just going to pkill Emacs and reload it. I believe that pkilled it. Okay. So eventually I want HackMatrix to have the ability to set up windows like i3 in a workspace. So I think the start of that will just be, I need the ability to just like resize windows, and maybe I can use arrow keys to like move them around or something, like when you're focused onto them. So the way to do that, I'm not entirely sure at the moment, but so I think in Window Manager is where all of the hotkeys are, or rather the hotkeys when focused on a window, I think is where this is set up. So on hotkey press, this function. And so here you can see that for Okay, so this would be hotkey 0 for all of the number hotkeys. That's what does that. That's where these are written. These are number hotkeys. And then there is the Q, and then a few other hotkeys. So I think I need 2 more key codes. Key code, so this will be the plus, and then the key code minus. I think this should be relatively easy to grab. So I think it'll probably be called either plus or equal, and I'll have to add a shift key to it. E, Q. Does that actually compile? Okay, so it is equal and then I think minus. So it's equal and then dash or minus. Yeah. Whoops. Okay. But I should probably name these to something else. I'm going to abstract. So what these keys really are the bigger and smaller keys. So window larger key and then window smaller key. Or window larger code, I'll stick with code. Window larger code, window smaller code. Okay. Cool. So now I can just do a simple if the event here. Same thing as this. So I still want the mod4 mask. It's just that what in the world just happened? It, like shifted all my code over. Let's see if anybody's chatting. No one's chatting. That's good. I mean, it's not good. It's good that I didn't miss any chat. Or it's good that, you know, everything's taken care of with the chat. It's basically. It would be good if someone chatted, but I would have to answer it, and then it would be quote unquote good. Okay, so for the window larger code, we have that, and then here we have the, whoops, y2y, window smaller code. Okay, so these will listen to the keys, but I do believe that I need to maybe split this and go to the app. I hate that I actually have to define this twice. I should probably make it so I don't have to do this. But I actually have to now grab the equal and the minus. Equal. I'm having to make changes in 2 places, and that's not ideal. Ideally, I would have a function that would then go and make these calls in the, or set up, like it would have a list of things, of keys that it would then grab. But basically what happens is when I focus on a window, it's going to take away focus from the window manager itself. And so I have to explicitly say, hey, grab these keys and pass them through to the window manager. And then over here is when I actually respond to the keys that get listened to. Okay, so I just have to copy and paste this. I should be doing this in a list as this thing has grown. Pretty much all keys that have the super button pressed should be grabbed. But right now I'm just grabbing them individually. Okay, so we have the two key codes. Okay, so now these are dynamic apps. And so when this is pressed with an X key event, basically I need to call this same set of functions here, or do the same thing here, but instead of closing the app, I want to resize the app. Okay. Cool. And so now I want to do app.get. I need the size of the app in order to do a resize of it. The problem with doing a resize is I'm not sure if this app by itself, I think it's okay, but I think there's like some associated data structure besides the X11 app that needs to have its size changed as well. But I think it's encapsulated in this this app struct here, or this app class here. So I think just calling resize on it should work. I could call make smaller or something, just like decrease the size, and then I would have to add that to the API of the app itself. But let's just take a look at resize because it has resize here. So it has a this width and a this height. And so I could do a this width like minus 10 or something. And so I could basically what I'm doing right now is just doing a proof of concept that I can dynamically resize the app while I'm looking at it. And so I think just creating a function called app larger and app smaller will work here. This is going to be a very basic implementation, and then I will improve it probably in a later stream. So let's go to the app class. And so we need a void larger and a void smaller. Okay, so that, I believe, takes care of everything that needs to be done in the window manager itself. And now we need to just implement these functions, and they should be relatively easy to implement. So void x11 app smaller, and void or larger. Okay, so the way this works, very simple. I grab the this.width and I set it to itself minus, but only if it's not like smaller than like 10. Okay, so it's like if the this.width minus, or this width minus 10 is like greater than 10, then this width, I'll just do this simple thing here. This dot height, and by simple thing I mean I'm going to combine, I want these to increase and decrease the width at the same time, and only if the width and the height can increase and decrease. Basically, I don't want, there's going to be a limiting factor. It's either going to be the width and the height, and it's probably going to be the height first that collapses to 10 because we're not doing percentages, we're doing actual values. And so as as I decrease by 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, the height will go to 0 first. So technically, I don't even need to check both, but I'm going to check both. But basically, what I don't want to have happen is the aspect ratio of the window to then get like changed. So I could like increase the height to 10, and then the width just keeps decreasing, and then as I increase it, it changes the aspect ratio. That's not what I want for the simple implementation. So let's just say minus 10, and let's just add a like d auto d is equal to 10. D size, I guess, is a good word for that. D size. D size. Okay, so width is equal to this width minus d size, and same thing for height. Okay. Okay, and then for the larger, this will be a little bit different because now I have to check the actual window height, which is not. So I need an auto window height, or not window, auto screen height, and an auto screen width, because now we're going to be adding the size for the larger. And so now this needs to be less than the screen height, less than or equal to, and then this is actually the width. And then same thing over here, it needs to be less than or equal to the screen height. Okay. So for now, I'll just set these to 0. Because I need to find out how to calculate this. And then, of course, these need to be plus. Okay. And then I remember that I had to add this here, so I need to add the equal in there. Okay. So we're almost done. The only thing I need to do is find out the screen height. Gabriel says, nice, I'm almost graduating. I think this project has so many good implications. I use a single monitor Mac. It's boring to have a single display. In my case, HackMatrix is gold and happiness. Nice. Cool. Okay, so let's go to Claude, and then xlib. How do I get screen height? And it might actually be saved somewhere in here, the screen at least. So I do have the screen itself. I do have a display, display star. Do I have a screen star? I think the answer to that is no. I do have an int screen, but that's not a screen star. So basically, I have a screen int. It's not a pointer, it's an int. Oh, I can just say display height. I hope this int is set, because it might not be, but display height of display and screen. Okay. display width of display and screen. Cool. Cool, and now with that, I believe I can compile this. Again, this is just a proof of concept that I can dynamically, or to implement just very minimalistic dynamic resizing of windows. Of course, you probably either want some type of like tile-based resizing with multiple windows, or like some type of, I don't know, like most people when they do resizing of windows, they will resize only one dimension or like resize the dimensions separately, and then they resize them because, you know, you would want to put another window on screen. Um, there's no reason to not have a full screen window if you, you know, don't have any other windows besides the one that you have, unless you're doing some type of like aesthetic thing, which is like what HackMatrix is doing. Like, you know, there is some aesthetic to it that like I can see the 3D background behind it, and that's kind of cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just close all the windows and reboot HackMatrix, and we're going to see if the changes worked the way that they should work. I will probably have to kill OBS and restart it. Usually when I restart HackMatrix, OBS will like after some time die. So it's not great. So anyways, I'm going to restart. And then I'm going to exit and exit. And okay, so it's not happy with whatever changes I've made. So the shit. Sorry for my language. So the glfw install that I have is broken. And I hate it when this happens, but I have a modified glfw, which I believe is already made. cd hack matrix make file. So there's a way for me to choose which glfw to use, and for some reason it didn't have access to this one, the custom one that I compiled, but it should now. So I'm going to rm matrix, and then I'm going to remake. I believe that file handler is still broken. Okay, cool. So that actually worked the way it's supposed to. Okay, so let's give this a shot. So let's try it with first. Let's pkill OBS. Okay, the stream has started back up, and now let's do alacrity. It's a um, very simple application. Okay, so I'm going to do window minus, and hopefully the app decreases in size, or maybe window shift minus. Okay, so it works for plus, but only in the height, which is kind of goofy, and it doesn't work for minus. So I'm not sure what's going on there. And then it seems to like break after I exit or something. So it's like the focus version is like screwed up. It's broken. It kind of works, but it's kind of broken. So let's take a look at why that could be. Okay, so the first thing is let's just make sure that the minus key or the so the increase key is getting set, the minus key is not. So that's the first problem. So I'm not actually grabbing the minus key code. And then the second problem, there's another problem, and I'm not sure what it is, but let's investigate. Smaller. Oh, this is actually something I don't want to manually set this stuff. I actually want to call resize because there's some other stuff that's going on, and so that other stuff needs to be handled by this resize function. So I'm just going to call the already created resize function with the new height and width. And maybe we can take a look at why that might have broken this. So you can see that it's doing like repositioning stuff. It's like it's recentering it. It's like reloading the app texture because like it's actually physically resizing the app, and so it needs to get a new texture that's physically larger. Or I guess physically is a new texture that's larger. So there's a lot of stuff that it's doing in the resize. So let's open up eShell and make this now. And so with that, I think the resize stuff will work as expected. Okay, let's go ahead and kill all of the windows, except for OBS, which I'll reboot in a moment. Okay, so let's give this a shot again. So alacrity. I guess I could kill and bring back OBS, but I think this is almost done. So let's do minus. Does nothing. It crashes. Okay, it crashes. Not great. All right, so let's do that again with a plus. Is it going to crash? It does crash. Okay. So whatever changes I made there, not great. So let's see what's going on. pkill. Okay. All right, let's see why this. So it has to set resized equal to true. Um, yeah, I don't really get why this is happening. That's not great. So one thing could be like, I was thinking maybe like the button needs to be debounced or something, but this resize function is like not good. It's a pretty bad resize function. Xmove resize window. And then here, it's getting a position, creating a new X and a new Y. Okay, so this is the physical position of the app, like if it were like on a screen that, you know, you could click and drag the app. So this is the position on the display that X knows the app to be. Okay, so if it's not an accessory app, and this is not, then it computes an X and a Y, and then if the X and the Y or the width and the height have changed, then it does a Xmove resize window. So that makes sense. I want to take a look at this function. So I think this might not be correct. Display height. Although I'm not sure why that would cause a break. Okay, I'm going to try the minus side, and so it's going to run the smaller. So it'll run this simple function that just decreases the size of the width and the height. So let's try that, and I believe it's going to crash. So yeah. So one thing I can actually do is I can start matrix from the terminal as opposed to from the trampoline. So now when I run like alacrity and I say, okay, let's crash it, I can get access to the, okay, so it's a seg fault. That's not great. So I can't actually debug a seg fault using GDB unless I switch to another TTY, which I can do, but it's a little bit bad for stream. But I guess I'll try. It's going to like shut down the stream for a few seconds. But let me give that a shot, I guess. Throw in const char star. Now it's like not even starting. Huh, very strange. Okay, I'm actually going to get rid of this and we're just going to assume that an increase in size is not going to break anything. Not that that matters much, but for some reason I can't start this under GDB, which is interesting. It used to be that I could start the HackMatrix from GDB and it would wait until I popped over to the other TTY and it could open up the window in this display. I think I know. I think I know the issue now. I haven't used GDB in a while for this, but I think the issue is that there is actually a specific function in ls tools debug tools or dev tools called GDB, which creates it on display 0. So that's the problem I was experiencing. So let me fix that. Okay, so it has booted, and so now I will open up Alacrity, and then I will do the minus version to try to get it to crash. App texture xsync. Okay. Okay, so it crashed, and I know where it crashed now. I can show that to you guys. I guess I should open up Chromium and look at chat, see if it's changed recently, see if anybody's chatting. Any chatters in the chat? Barracuda Lake says hello. Hello, Barracuda Lake. Okay, so app. So the problem is that it's rerunning app texture, and app texture is failing for some reason. So let's take a look at resize. So it tries app texture, and then it's like the catch is failing for some reason. It's like it doesn't. I don't think it needs to. like to reload the app texture. Like I think the texture is probably okay. Well, does it like change the texture size? I guess that's the real question. And is like that a problem? Like, do I actually have to reload the app texture? So part of me is like, yeah, maybe it does, but maybe not. Um, Let me think about this. So what happens if I just did a resize move? Uh, if resized, flush the display, sync the display. If the texture ID is not -1, which means the texture ID already exists, then we try to run app texture. Why is it that app texture? So it's the xsync in app texture that's failing. I don't know what that means. Where is it even doing an xsync? What if I just did a resize move instead of a resize? And then I did a XY like that. Not exactly sure if that is going to work the way I think it should. Something's really weird with my logic in the resizing function. Excuse me. So what I expect to do is I expect this window to resize from the upper left-hand corner, and so the upper left-hand corner should just stay there and it resizes, and so it doesn't stay center, but I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen or not. All right, let's try this. Okay, so it's the bottom right corner, but the main problem, as we can see, this might crash. Does this crash? Oh, it's just like not getting like input focus anymore. Okay, so the main problem is that now when I resize down, it's resizing the actual window, but it's not resizing the app texture. Okay, something's weird there. I have screen height as a const. That's nice. Okay, so here it just goes ahead and does a resize move. If I call resize, because I know this isn't an accessory app, so it should just be calling x move resize window after it. So that's great. This is actually the branch that it was taking. But if that's the case, I guess resize is getting true, set to true, and then this is happening where it tries to do this app texture. So do I have to? Do I have to like rerun this? Like, okay, so this thing has a texture ID. So I'm binding the texture ID. Okay, so the textures actually get created, I think, in the renderer. So like what size are these textures getting created with? Like what? So when I register an app, I attach a texture unit with a texture ID and then call app texture. Hmm. Okay, I think I'm going to call resize again and try to see in GDB again, like why it broke. And then maybe ask Claude about this function app texture to see whether or not like I can like rebind a texture with texture ID and like recreate the texture or something. so this just creates a new texture of like, does it have a size? Like, do textures have size? Blink data. Fuck. Okay, so the texture gets created with like a default width and height. Is that? How do these fucking things get set? Okay, so it's an STBI load, it gets the width and the height, but when it has blink data and it creates the blink texture, there's like no width and height set. So that's weird. It's like kind of broken, maybe. I wonder if that will crash things. Oh, I think I recompiled it with the thing that will cause it to break. So let's give that a shot with it. It's like taking some time to download debugger files or something. But here we go. Okay, so it's loaded with the debugger. So let's try to open up Alacrity and. Is there like a race condition? Is that the problem? Because it did decrease its size there. Lock display. Okay, so it's a thread problem. It's like the BT segfault xsync app texture. This is like not running on the main thread or something. So it's like trying to I thought that was running on the main thread. It's like locking the display. Okay. So I'll just call run again and let's see if this is actually on the main thread. So I think the issue is that it's not running on the main thread. That resize call. Not exactly sure how to fix that. But let's figure that out. So I think the window manager, if there's any type of thread stuff going on, it will be the window manager that's handling it and that's creating the thread. So let's go look at where this hotkey stuff is happening. So we're in the window manager. All of this, we have a substructure, handle substructure, which is handling, okay, so this is a separate thread. No, okay, where's the hotkey stuff? Hotkey. Okay, create and register apps, that's not it. Find apps, hotkey, on hotkey press. Okay, so I think I know what's going on. I think the substructure thread is running the on hotkey press function. And then it's trying to do a resize window on the non-main thread. It's trying to do a resize window on the substructure thread, which gets created substructure handle it's trying to do it on this detached thread here, and that obviously won't work. So I think the way that I solved this is on window manager tick. So it has apps to remove, apps to add, but no like app actions. And so I think this is kind of gross, but I think what needs to happen is I need to have like some type of event system in the window manager itself. That will just like read a resize event or something. It's not great, but the render loop mutex. So where does it get locked? It gets locked in add app. Okay. Okay, so I need to lock this render lock mutex here in this if statement for both sides, and then I need to create a list of app events. So this is why I'm doing this, doing a very minimal implementation of this, so that way I can solve all of these problems with the minimal implementation before I like add like super amounts of complexity to it. Let's see if there's chat. Nope, just Barracuda. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to think of the best way to handle this. I think it probably is going to have to just go through that window manager tick function. And honestly, this thread problem may be the reason why HackMatrix freezes at some times. Okay, let's just go ahead and create this here. So let's do include window manager, and the render loop mutex. I think I need some type of enum. And so this will be, I'll put the enum in window manager here. Enum, like an event maybe, or maybe it should just be like a struct like window event. Right. And then, so what goes in the window event should be like event type. So this I think should be like smaller, larger, or yeah. I'll just call it smaller and larger. So window event type, and then I believe I just want to store a like currently focused app has value. Where do we do this? Smaller and larger. So this, whoops, this app is an ENTT. Excuse me. This is an ENTT ID. So I'll just do entity, and then this will be the window, like that. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so now there needs to be a new vector, which will be called vector app events, or what is it? A window event. And technically, I can move the apps to add and apps to remove into these events as well, and I can refactor that so that it uses these events. So I just have a single list to process, but at the moment, right now, I'll just do this event to handle like special things that aren't add and remove. Okay. I think that is all I need now in the header file. So let's go to the hotkey function. Okay. So here I will do a lock of that mutex. I believe it's scope guarded. So I'll do that here. So I will lock guard the render loop. Jesus, are you okay? Holy shit. My dog just like rolled off the couch and fell on his back. Dude, are you okay? Okay, I think he's fine. He's a pretty resilient dog. Okay, so the actual app is not needed. And I just need to now add the event. So this will be events dot push back, and then this will be a new app event or window event, and so it will be a where are we at? This is the larger event, and then the currently focused app dot value, like so. And then same thing here, except the smaller. Okay, so that just puts it into the event queue. And then in the tick, we have a, so we can do a removal. So we have creation, removal, and I'll just put it at the top here. And so then it'll be for auto iterator equals events dot begin. It does not equal to events dot end. It plus plus. And then we need to request the X11 app for the window in the event. So that would just be a registry try get, like so. Most likely it will exist. Where are we at? Okay. Okay, so we're going to do a registry try get of events, or the it of the window, like so. So this is the actual app itself. And then if the iterator is of type is equal to smaller, then we will call app dot smaller on it. And then presumably there will be other app types, so I'm not going to use an else. I'll just do a specific type switch, so larger. Same thing, app larger, like so. Cool. And now if I go back to the application, I think the application is set up appropriately. So let's just open up eShell and make. Cool, so I took it off the side thread and put it on the main thread. However, I will need to, if I run this now, what's going to happen is if I press this decrease, it's going to decrease it infinitely because I'm not actually removing them from the apps here, or from the events. So I just need to call events.clear. That's the one thing I forgot. So I definitely don't want to restart just yet. All right, let's take a look at chat, see what's going on, and maybe I should actually do a p-kill of OBS real quick. Okay. See if there's anybody in chat. No one in chat. Let's go back to Emacs. Okay, time for let's close all these windows. Let's do a reboot. Exit, exit. Okay, and now, finally, I believe this code should work. So let's open up Alacrity. I'm getting some pings that it doesn't work. Holy shit. Okay. I think I forgot to recompile after I made that change. Yeah, okay. So I made that change to that was an example of what I said was going to happen. I put that single that event and then I didn't clear it and I added the clear code, but I didn't actually type make to recompile it with the clear code. And so that's what happens. It just had that single event and it just kept processing it over and over. And my what I will say my psychic self, which long story short, I have a connection with the Holy Spirit that basically I knew that something was going to go wrong with that window as soon as I booted. And that happens super frequently with me. I guess one could say that no, that's not, psychic. That's just you remembered that like you didn't recompile, and I guess maybe that's true, but um, I guess right now is not the time to have a debate on sort of parapsychology, parapsychology, or whatever they call it, extra normal sensory stuff. Okay, so let's check this out. So if I press minus, shit, not working. Okay, plus. Okay, so at least it's not like crashing this time. But for some reason I mean, I know the reason actually. So there's something called a bootable, which handles the actual size of the display texture, or I'm not sure if I'm describing that right, or thinking about it right. But basically, there is when I render these things, there's like a specific dimension. Like here, it uses in the draw app direct, it uses the app height and app width directly from the app itself. But when I go to the actual render, which will be render, it's not the dynamic objects, it's just render apps, I believe. Its height and width is set here, so it's like bootable scale, get height scaler. And so this, not exactly sure what this does, but it like sets the like this is rendered on a cube that has like OpenGL like size, essentially. Like they're unitless sizes, basically. And they all render to the same size, I think, but then I multiply it by the scalar in the actual shader itself. So if I go to the vertex shader, that's the depth vertex. The regular shader, there is a bootable scale, which takes the window of a specific aspect ratio and just multiplies it by that scale. So basically, the problem is that there is no there's no way for it to know like what the height and I don't know how to describe this to you guys, but I sort of know what the problem is now. I think with this get scalar thing, this get bootable scalar or get height scalar, oh, it's a matrix 4. That's weird. Let's go take a look at its implementation. So it is a default width and height, get height scalar, recompute height scalar, standard ratio, current ratio, scale factor, and then it creates a scalar from it. Okay. I wonder if I can make this a static function and then just pass in the get height and get width whenever I call it. Let's see where its references are. I think I'm going to make this static. Recompute height scalar. So then this can be bootable recompute height scalar, and then I will pass in the get height and the get width, like so. Although I think I want to do a width and a height, so that way I don't have to remember that these are inverted. Get height. Okay. And so now this will just be, I think these are doubles. What does this return? Does this return? Okay, it returns an integer. I just need to, I'll just take them as doubles. So double width, double height. Think I can do it like that? No. You can in Golang. Okay, so then this will just become width. No need for the cast anymore. And height. I mean, this definitely does not need to be a member variable. That's basically what I'm saying. And so now it has a height scalar, so it needs to return a double now. So it's not a void, it's a double. Okay, and it returns the height scalar, at which point the height scalar is going to be set to that. Okay, and now I just need to change the method in the header file. Bootable. So now instead of, oh, that's a mat4, that's not a double. GLM mat4, there we go. Okay, very close to being done with this. So where is the recompute height scalar? Okay, so now this is a static GLM mat4 that takes a double width and a double height, like so. Okay, everything should compile just the same as it did, except maybe there's like some stuff with like resize or something. I'm not, what is it complaining about now? Oh, okay. Got it. So this will be width, height, and height scalar is equal to such. Okay. So everything is good there, and now I can use that in the renderer itself. And so now bootable scale will always be bootable get height scalar. Oh shit. So this is for the bootables. For the other types of apps that aren't bootable, okay, so yeah, here it has a GLM mat4. We don't want to do that now. We want to do bootable get height scalar. So it's going to slow some shit down, I think. I think this is going to be bad. App dot width and so this will be recompute. Oh, this is private function. I don't like how this is working here. I think I decided to do that incorrectly. I think what needs to happen is that I think this recompute height scalar stuff needs to like be moved out of the I don't actually need to prefix this bootable. I think it needs to be moved into the app, and that the app itself needs a height scaler or something. Or just make everything a bootable. Yeah, the main problem is that I don't want to recompute this matrix 4 on every boot or on every single render, because I think it's going to really slow shit down. Because let's take a look at the FPS. So right now we're getting about almost 300 FPS. And so I'm going to compile this in, and I'm going to see, what the FPS is. So I'll make this function public for now. This static function will now be public. And so now I can use it here, and we'll see if there's an FPS drop. There may not be. But there also may be. It should probably be cached. I mean, just recomputing this every render is just dumb. I just don't know where to compute it for this particular app. What I may do is have the app include the bootable, and then it can compute that function. Or I can just put it into the app. That's what I'll probably do. I'll probably remove this static function, put it into the app itself, and then in the app itself, I'll cache the height scaler and just have a function called getHeightScaler to make this work. Because I definitely don't want to be computing this over and over again like it is. What is this, special WM? Yes. What are my two favorite cars? Can you play Fortnite on HackMatrix? The car question is kind of a difficult one, I think. Two favorite cars. Let me get back to you. Okay, reboot. Okay, so it is doing that Look at that. The FPS is higher now. That's kind of goofy. Well, I guess it's not that big of a problem. I don't know, maybe I'll just put in there like, hey, this can be cached. To do cache this. I know that I did want to unify the bootable and the app. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, okay, because this is render apps. So I think the more apps that I get in here, maybe the FPS like slows down a lot. I don't know. There's already a limit of 10 apps, so it's not like I'm going to have like 100 apps in here that like it has to recompute that like many times. So if it were models, I would be a little more concerned, I think. But I think now that I know that it's just apps, I'm not concerned about it. So I will go back down to render apps, and I will go to this. Well, let's just verify that it actually works. Yeah, I mean, eh. So it's definitely getting the scale correct, but it's like I have to re-zoom out to get the distance correct. I guess that's okay. I don't know. It's definitely broken. But at least I can like resize. It's so bad. It's so bad. Um, when I increase the size, like it's not an issue, you know? But I did a hack where I didn't care about the actual size of the window, and I literally just stand farther back or closer to the app if I want it to look bigger or smaller, or if it's bigger and smaller or smaller in actual size. And so what that does is like I'm standing too close to the app texture now is basically uh, the problem. And so I actually have to do that, and now I'm literally standing farther away from the app. Let me see if I can actually show that. So if I increase the size um, and I sort of turn to the side, um, you can kind of see how close. Let me decrease the speed of my movement. I think that will be able to show you guys. So if I decrease the speed, turn, and then just like move slightly, you can see that you get an understanding of how far away I am. And now when I make it smaller, I'm actually going to have to get farther away from the app. So it's going to push me back farther. And so now if I turn and move, you can see I'm literally farther away from the app. And so that's how I do scaling. I basically just didn't do anything with it, um, which to me is hilarious. Um, I sort of punted the problem. And it doesn't cause any problems when I scale up, only when I scale down, it would seem. So, all right, I'm going to call this broken feature a feature. I'm going to call it done. Um, so, uh, except for the fact that I'm going to add a to-do to cache this. So where is that happening? It's happening here. I to-do cache the recom. And actually, one of the problems is that it is doing this on the CPU. Um, when it does that, I don't actually know how much time it's taking on CPU to do that. That's obviously not like a lot. It's not super bad, but it's just not efficient, you know? It's not like the most efficient code that can be written. It's kind of bad. And so with that, I'm actually going to improve it. So let's increase the size first, because I don't really like working on an app this small. So let's increase the size. Actually, maybe that's a little too big there. Okay, this is good. And let's go to the app.h, where I will now create a cache variable for this. where is the height and width? So app.width, app.height, where is that actually? Where's the variable for that? Oh, there it is. Okay. So int, what is this called? The height scalar. And I'll just say that's equal to 0, except that is a double. Okay, now this is going to be goofy, but in the implementation of this source app, you know what? F it. I am going to move the static function from the bootable to this. So components, bootable, let's grab the static method. Because the bootable already, it imports app already. And so I'll just go ahead and save that. We can go to the bootable, I think will need to be the source components bootable component here. And now this does not exist here. It is going to exist in the app. So now this is called app, or x11 app. That, like so. There is some silly GLM stuff in here now. That's fine. Okay, so now here, this is x11 app, boom, boom, recompute, x11 app, boom, boom, and then still kind of bad code, but at least I can sort of, I don't know, cache it. At least it's efficient, even if it's just organized poorly. And then the GLM stuff I will remove from, whoops. Move from here and add to here. Okay. So I'll get rid of this and then add the static, like so. There we go. So that should be solved, and then this should not have problems, I believe. Okay. Then I actually need the glmgtx transform to be in here as well. Oh, okay. Cool. And so now the app can, when it does a resize, any type of resize, I think, we can call recompute, or any type of non-accessory resize, we can call a recompute height scalar. So this is x11, or recompute, I don't need to prefix it, And so now this is the new width and height, like so. And then the height scalar is equal to this. Okay, and so the height scalar is a GLM mat4. Okay, and so then this will just be what the original GLM mat4 is with, or GLM scale, which I think is just 1.0, I believe. That's how that. No name scale. I think I can just say mat4 here and use that instead. That's the default. And then I set it. And so now this will, the renderer itself, we're not going to call this. We will just use the thing in the class or the struct called app height scalar that gets cached every time a thing gets resized. And I believe this is good. There's some complicated math going on because of the way that I have set up the coordinate system for OpenGL is with respect to the application. And it's not going to be simple to change because I do distance computations for how far away I am from an app with that. And so I can't just, like, basically it's like there are non-normalized coordinates or something. And I can't like just renormalize them because then it throws off some functionality that requires the non-normalized version. So it's not great, but I'll get around to fixing it probably when I unify the bootable and the app, because a bootable is an app. So I just need to componentize the app essentially. And is this X11? Yes, this is X11. Ian says OpenXR integration coming soon. I have to deal with swap chains and like it's a whole different game with OpenXR versus OpenGL. I would have to port everything. So it's going to take some time, but I do believe that it's going to happen soon. Blocky Script says nice display. Thank you. Whoops. It's hilarious that this world object file, there's like a lot of code in world, but it's for my old voxel engine, and like I just didn't want to delete it, which is kind of dumb, but I don't know. So it's like recompiling like voxel engine stuff that like doesn't even get used. It's unfortunate, but is what it is. I think there are some viewers, 3 watching. If you want any questions answered, feel feel free to drop the questions in the chat. Now would be a good time because I'm available to answer as this thing compiles. Almost done. See if it drops the FPS at all. So FPS drops to 250 during compilation, and then I think it will probably jump up to like 320, something like that after compilation is done. There's a lot of, I guess, CPU work done in this. Uh-oh, I think maybe OBS crashed. It kind of sounds like it. When OBS crashes, I can hear my headphones like die out because it like kills the headphones as like an audio input or something. I'm not sure. I do think there's like mic feedback that I get, and so when I start speaking and OBS is crashed, I'm not getting the mic feedback. Okay, that's back. Okay, I think after this compilation, everything is going to work the way I expect. There are no glaring optimizations. There are some glaring code organization problems, but I'm not going to solve them at the moment because basically bootable and X11 app need to be unified, and so I'll solve them when I do that. So I think it'll be time for me to do a commit and stop with the stream. You can see now that it's entered linking phase, I'm already getting 200 or 300 FPS. It's hopping up into like the 300 something, so that's cool. When I go from, that's actually interesting. So when I go from this control mode to mouse mode, it was dropping down into like the 200s. You can see it dropped down to the 200s, and now it's up to the 300s when I make the mouse disappear. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but okay, I'm going to close all the windows and do a reboot. If you have any questions, get them into the chat now because the stream will be ending in about 30 seconds or so after I do a reboot. And just to verify everything works as expected. So decrease in size does break. You just have to exit and then rezoom in because it will change the distance away from the window, and then the increase in size I don't think has any doesn't play into anything, and then you can back up and then do that, and everything works as expected. Okay, time for a commit. Get status. Rudimentary window resizing. Super equals or minus. Delete. Okay. Get status. Okay, I think we are good there. I think everything makes appropriately. Okay. So with that, I will end the stream. It was good talking with everybody. I will go ahead and kill the stream here and then kill it in the browser. So adios.